710 ESPN Seattle presents Bob and Groz's One More Thing.
Powered by the law offices of Heidi Hunt.
Big busts. That's not what you were thinking about, was it, Rockstar Bob?
Oh, I was thinking about it.
I know you were. We were talking today about the biggest busts in Seahawks history in the first round since the fourth overall pick in the draft a couple years ago by the Seahawks was basically cut loose by him today for nothing. They got a couple late draft picks out of it, but that was it.
That'd be Aaron Curry, no longer part of the Seahawks, now a member of the Oakland Raiders, and we'll find out what becomes of the guys we get in return. But yeah, that's a massive swing and a miss.
This is a guy who had maybe a 4-game prime. His first 3 or 4 games with the Hawks, he had 2.5 sacks. He had 3.5 the rest of his career in those first 4 games.
5.5 in his entire Seahawks career.
Made a big impact on Steven Jackson with that tackle. I think people remember that in Jim Mora's first year, and then kind of petered out. And for his years here, his 50 tackles and 2 sacks was the average, even though he had most of them in the first game. Yeah. Not at all what you'd expect. Lost his job, was abysmal against the Giants last week, made a couple of really bad plays, and it got us thinking about who was the biggest bust in Seahawks draft history.
And there's a nice list. You can go Rick Meyer, number 2 overall pick.
Well, hold on. Before we do that, just get it out.
Dan McGuire.
Okay.
Dan McGuire, you suck. You've always sucked. It was a terrible pick. Ken Behring, suck it.
Okay. I knew Bob would feel a little bit better. We almost got to do it 2 ways here. Top 10 picks or just overall number 1 bust, because certainly like Dan McGuire, who was taken way too early, being drafted at all was way too early.
Taken at all.
But it was like 16th or 17th. And I was thinking, well, originally top 10 picks, unfortunately the Seahawks have had a lot of them. Way too many of them over their career. You expect to make it with those guys. You find those guys, look at those guys. You know, the last number 4 pick they'd taken was Kenny Easley.
Yeah. You expect a top
Walter
10 pick.
went number 6.
Top 10 pick should have an impact on your team. Should be more than serviceable. Should be an impact player.
Rick Meyer was second runner-up in Offensive Player of the Year, his rookie year.
Of the year,
Wasn't a great player. We get that. But Aaron Curry never amounted to anything.
No.
Never had a prime, never had a great moment.
Prime. It wasn't even a season. Rick Meyer had a season. To be the runner-up for Rookie of the Year, had a pretty decent season.
Brian Bosworth, we heard, look, it was a supplemental pick, but that wound up being the 22nd pick overall. They traded for Kelly Stauffer. That was bad.
Also led the team in tackles. Bosworth did that one.
He had a good year. Kelly Stauffer, we can't say anything good about, but they actually traded for him.
Still better than
Aaron Curry
and Aaron Curry.
And I think let's put them together. Big Dan and not so big Aaron. Dan McGuire shouldn't have been picked where he was picked. Aaron Curry, everyone thought he was a great pick.
Yeah.
And wound up being. That's why, for me, everyone thought he would be great. Everyone thought it was a great pick. Total bust. He's number 1.
I'm still going with Dan. He stinks.